Okay, so first we have our enzyme, which is this orange part. The way that this picture is drawn is it shows kind of the before, during, and the after.
The Sequoia district with 8,000 students is now using smartboards in just about every class. That wasn't always the case. A few years ago, you were still just gearing up. Tell us about the first year of using these in the classroom and why you really decided to go with interactive boards.
We saw the value of it. We saw the engagement it had for students. We saw the excitement it had in teachers. So we decided to give it a shot, and we started demonstrating it to each of the comprehensive school sites as well as the continuation school in the district, and teachers were buying it immediately.
Let's talk about the value. These boards are not cheap. Are they just fancy blackboards? I mean, what can you do with these that you couldn't do with a blackboard or a whiteboard?
Well, for starters, it's providing us infinite whiteboard space. In the past, a teacher would teach a class and have notes up on the board, and he or she would have to erase them at the end of the period and then recreate the wheel. Or as they're teaching, they'd erase stuff, and a student would say, oh, I didn't write that down, I need to see that. With a smartboard, once you fill up a screen, you hit a button, you have a fresh screen, you can always go back to the first screen. So it serves as a review. It also has the ability to save in PDF format and email those notes out.
And has it made a difference with the engagement of the students?
Students are really engaged. They want to get up there because it's an interactive board where they can drag and drop and actually control the entire computer and add to a lesson. So they're very engaged as far as wanting to be more involved in the instruction.
Okay, so you got some of them right, some of them not so right.
It's hard to make a correlation between things like engagement and fun. And we talk a lot about, oh, lessons have to be more engaging. But do you have any sense of whether this is paying off in terms of those other things we worry about, which are test scores and the achievement of the students?
Carlmont, in the last 3 years, was the first school in our district to get to an 800 API, which is the threshold that the state wants us to all to be at. This past year, our API just went up to 827. We had a 27-point jump. I attribute that a lot to smart technology, the way the teachers have adopted to it, because we have teachers not only using the smart boards, but they're collaborating with one another. And we've started smart learning groups and user groups, so they're sharing ideas, they're showing each other what they're doing, they're adopting, a math lesson into English, the same idea, but with a different curriculum, and they're really sharing best practices.
At a time when school districts all over the country are seeing their budgets really crunched, is this kind of technology, if you had to tell them, yeah, you can buy textbooks or you can buy a smartboard, what would you recommend to people?
I have a biased opinion, but I'd recommend a smartboard. And I'd also tell you that when we looked into the interactive whiteboards, one school had a smartboard that was 15 years old and still functioning fine. So it's not that they're indestructible, but they're very durable, and all their software updates are free. So a smartboard that was made 15 years ago is still running the current software and working just fine. So it's not just a short-term investment. It's something we're looking at for the long term.